What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I am one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well.
Good. The pure one, Tim Gettys.
Let Tim host.
None other than the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Go Islanders.
And then a man who needs no introduction.
Go Wings.
One of the best men I've ever met in my entire life, Rob Paulsen.
Thanks. Hello, nurse. Hi, bud. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Paulsen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Paulsen.
Thank you.
The voice of a generation.
Oh, man.
He's launched 1,000 cartoons.
Listen.
You know him from Talking Tunes, the iTunes podcast. Go get it on
you.
iTunes and other podcast servers.
Thank
it's not
you,
exclusive to iTunes.
This is it's a pleasure to be here, and the fact that you guys, we all have the same parole officer, I think is so convenient.
Easiest way to get us all
He
linked
hooked
together.
us all up.
Yeah.
No, this is great. Thanks. A cup of Joe. I got your doggy here.
Yeah.
This is great.
This is
Lovely.
a good life. This
Thanks
is what
for
it's all
having
about.
me,
This
buddy.
is the life of internet superstar meets cartoon superstar.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Has it, Greg, for you, has it gotten to the point where it's kitsch to have people in your spare bedroom yet, or is it still slightly embarrassing?
Kitsch.
No, I mean, like, if you notice, the house is cleaner than usual.
Yeah.
I woke up and ran around at 7 in the morning. I meant to get rid of the prize box for Colin and Greg Live. Forgot about that.
This thing?
So that the
This
giant
box that has been moved around so many times that it is no longer a box.
Yeah,
it's more
it's
of a
just
bag.
kind of like a...
It's just a
It's
cardboard,
a cardboard bag.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a cardboard
a
bag.
And I noticed you clearly are doing well. You have a Dyson vacuum.
Oh, we have two.
two.
Rob.
Shut up!
Yeah, you want one as a
Two.
parting gift?
How
Because
much are you
I'm trying to
kidding
get
me?
rid of one.
How much you make on this goddamn thing?
Well,
Those are
no.
expensive.
These were bought when we had full-time jobs.
Dyson. Those are expensive.
Yeah, I don't
man.
know. I still don't know why we have two of them actually.
Wow.
It's because a long time ago, Christine moved in with me and
she
fell in
brought
love
home-
with the Dyson. Then we broke up and we're like, we'll never be back together.
Wow.
And then we got back together, and she had already bought another Dyson. So now I got two goddamn Dysons in the
I'll
house.
take a Dyson off your hands if you're trying to get rid of a Dyson.
You gotta give me some
Greg.
money though.
I'll give you some money.
Really?
Yeah, we'll,
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
talk
that-
about this after,
Keep the
after
yellow
the
one. The other
show.
one's way better.
I want no. Don't no. Well, first off, we shouldn't negotiate. In
I
front of
want
him.
the purple one.
No, the purple one, Steimer's. That's not going anywhere. It's got the ball, so it can go around corners real easy.
I don't know if you noticed, but I used to be a prize fighter. My name was Mike Dyson.
Rob Paulsen, ladies and gentlemen.
I just cheated up. I just cheated up for you. Of course I respect you. I just want to touch your boobs. I'm sorry. I don't mean it. I'm so sorry. Mike's gonna. Well, never mind.
He's doing cartoons. Now.
He's doing cartoons. I may run into him. He may
Exactly.
cut my head off.
Whoa, damn.
Gnarly.
What a strange career Mike Tyson has had.
Yeah.
Right?
He's gone the full spectrum. He's done that thing that like a lot of old talent like should do, which is you sort of you rise, you fall, and then you sort of
Rise
he's had this
again.
weird introspective moment where he's like he's the one man show and he wrote
Yeah.
a book and he's like
Did you do the show about birds?
Pigeons, yeah, the pigeon show.
Yeah.
he's done some crazy stuff, but I think he's had these amazing moments of like clarity where he's like,
Well-
I am a crazy person, a crazy personality rather, not person,
Run with
and I
it.
should just run with it.
Well,
Let's just go
he,
with it.
he apparently, I mean, I've seen him in interviews in which he is very introspective and very contrite and says, oh my God, I really did some really bad
Oh, yeah.
things. I'm taking medication. I'm okay. Then I heard him on an interview, a couple months back with some sports guy who it was, I think in the UK, because he was doing his show.
Tyson, where did
Right, and he said, so has it been difficult for you as you did go to federal prison on a rape charge? And Mike just, fuck you, I'm not going to talk to you about this, just lost it.
Yeah.
Which, again, the guy set him up. I mean, he did, but it was, you could see where he had these moments of rageful
Well, I mean,
guy,
yeah, I mean,
Well, that's
there's
the
only
things
so
you
much.
try to get away from,
Yeah.
I imagine.
It was
When
pretty
you're doing
wow.
cartoons and
yeah,
pigeon
no
shows.
kidding.
And that was
and you tattoo your face with a tribal logo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
which
was
is
awesome.
that's
I love
crazy.
I really loved that. That was the best.
Crazy. Anyway, how we went from Mike.
This is the show. This
yeah.
is what
Dyson
we
to
do.
Mike Tyson.
to Mike
Dyson.
Dyson.
See,
That's
whenever I
prize
think of Dyson the vacuum, I think of Terminator 2.
fighter. Right.
Miles Dyson!
Yeah.
She's gonna kill Dyson! Remember? Because he was the one who...
The guy was like this.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer I can hold this thing.
I like how you're holding my cold Starbucks cup.
Yeah, God, Terminator 2 is such a... Can we stop the show and go film?
Go watch that.
I watched Terminator 3 the other day for about
Oh,
5
no,
seconds,
that
and I
was
was
a
like,
bad choice.
this is like a joke compared to its predecessors. 4 was actually okay. Salvation was okay, but what was
No,
Rise of the
Salvation
Machines?
sucked.
It was
Yeah, but it
okay.
wasn't like 3.
But 3
she
was
did that
like,
one, right?
and this is not, and I'm not saying this to be sexist at all, but I just don't think that actress, not
No.
necessarily a female role, but that actress was not imposing.
Was
at
the
all.
right choice.
She was not ominous. She was not. She didn't feel threatening in the least.
Well, it was
It's not that I'm
literally
saying
like,
you can't-
hey, let's get a hot Terminator.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get a hot chick.
And I'm like, you could have cast
Yeah,
someone that
McGee.
had that vibe,
Yeah.
that actually could like have that presence on screen, but she just was smoking hot. Not taking anything away from Christina Loki, I think that's her name, but when her hand changes 15 times into like an awesome gun, I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous. There's no fault to this character. There's no way to get around this. And then
She's perfect, like Miley Cyrus.
Oh god, Miley Cyrus is perfect.
Isn't she? I know.
Have you met Miley Cyrus?
I haven't. I don't think
If
she's old enough
if
to be
you
my
meet her first
granddaughter.
before me, can you say what's up to her for me?
Really?
Yeah.
You like Miley? She's your
I'm
chick?
not. I don't dislike her.
Yeah.
I like that she's a free spirit.
You'd like to teach her the meaning of the word discipline, wouldn't you?
I mean, are we talking like collar and choker, or like, like what are we talking about?
Back to Mike Tyson again.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
if you didn't know,
Oh,
this is
my
the
God.
Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, you can get the show early each and every Friday over on patreon.com/kindafunny, or you can wait till it all goes live for free on YouTube, topic by topic, day by day, until we post the entire show for free on Friday on iTunes and YouTube. A lot of people check their MP3. It's back, Colin. Pregnant
Oh,
pause.
nice.
Yeah, okay.
That's our favorite.
So that was the promo?
Yeah, that's where we just put that in
Excellent.
the middle if anybody didn't know what
Great.
it was.
Okay,
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we should put it at
They
the
got
beginning,
this
but we
far.
always talk. We just immediately go off on a tangent.
Well, that's how the show. That's how. What
Yeah.
I mean, it's episode 60 something or other. The Game
So
Over
69.
Greggy show. People
I
are
think
used to
it's
it.
Not 69.
Not
It's
69.
69.
No,
No.
there's
that's
not.
not the episode.
But as of yesterday, it's 69 days until Furious 7 comes
Oh
out.
God! Now you've dated this because we're putting this up from
do
a while ago.
Do we
too.
want to go
Right.
into that Twitter feed right now, or should we save that for a later episode?
That's a later. That is. A
There
good
should just
story,
be a
though.
Game Over Greggy show about the Fast and
Actually, you
Furious
know what?
40s. Oh,
I need
God.
to tell this
Here
story.
we go.
Sorry, Greg. I have to tell this
No,
story.
tangents. That's what the
'Cause
Game
it
Over
is-
Greggy
it is
show is all
amazing.
about.
So recently, and I spoke about this on the show. Rob, if you didn't know,
Okay.
we're huge fans of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh, right, okay.
It's an amazing.
So is my kid. My kid and his girlfriend, fiance, are crazy.
Congratulations.
About that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they just get it. They know it's not about
Oh,
cars.
man.
It's about family,
Yeah,
and it's
they
great.
love it.
So, I just found out that there's this Twitter feed called Days Till Furious 7.
Oh.
And every day they just update a tweet that just has the number and then a GIF, and then that's it.
That's
so
it.
I followed them instantly because I was excited. I'm like, this is great. And every day I've been talking to Nick. I'm like, dude, it's only 72 days. It's only 71 days, whatever. It wasn't until recently I was at IGN visiting, and my friend says, hey, Tim, you know we're playing an elaborate prank on you, right? And I was
Are
like,
you
what are
kidding
you
me?
talking about? And they're like, dude, so you fell into this so fast. We made that Twitter account
No
within 10
way.
minutes. You followed us. We were trying to play the long con where once the movie was released, we were going to say shout out to our biggest fan, Tim Gettys, who
No
makes this huge
way.
thing.
Are
you kidding?
But the fact that you followed in 10 minutes, like they're like, we thought it was going to
So
take
they
like
just
a month for
they
you to
just
get it.
right away.
Yeah.
Just real. So how many
They got me.
followers do they have on?
They now have like 130 or something like that. The first post actually went like semi-viral
Yeah.
for a random tweet that Darren Brazil
So
made. But
they totally got you.
funny.
yeah,
How
they
long-
got me.
How
They got
long
me.
did they have this?
I mean, it's been going for about like a week.
Bless
So,
you.
but it's just I love that.
God bless you for
that
telling
all
people
happened.
that.
No, I know. It just
That's
happened
great.
so fast, but it was
Listen
great.
to
It
you,
was
Rob.
so
I'm sorry
good.
about that.
Hey, okay.
He's
Here's
not used
my-
to working in with microphones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not.
I'm
I'm not used to working. No, I don't.
I'm glad to see this as a success. Because for a quick diatribe on the diatribe, of course, if you notice, I'll show it to you later. My coffee mug, my Dave Fennoy coffee mug
Yeah, I
says
saw
Greg
that.
Miller on the bottom.
Yeah.
Because at one point I lost it in IGN and it just disappeared, and I thought, oh man, I can't believe somebody took this. It's probably some other department. Da da da. And really, what it was Alexis Kazambalidis took the mug, made a Twitter account saying that it was gonna be held for ransom and I needed to find it. Da da da. And I never saw that tweet, and they never tweeted again. So I went and bought another Dave Fennoy coffee mug, and when that one showed up, they were like, "Oh, we screwed up."
This
Well,
is-
the
what
worst
I-
story there is I made that Twitter
Oh,
account.
you suck at
and
everything.
that Twitter account is tied to my Gmail account, and I don't remember the password to the Twitter, and there's no way to recover it because of just how Gmail works.
Yeah.
So I'm consistently getting Dave Fennoy coffee mug Twitter. Like, you should follow these people in my email. And
Is that
there's
what it's called, Dave Fennoy coffee mug?
Dave, like, I don't remember.
We are in
exactly
the
what
end
it's called.
times.
Yeah,
This is the end of days,
Things are
everybody.
bad.
Wow.
Here's my thing about you guys with these prank Twitters feeds. I don't think you quite understand it, because it would have been funny if they got you hooked on it, but it was the wrong Days to Fast and Furious.
Oh, man.
That's
would've
what
been
I thought
funny,
was gonna
is if-
happen. Yeah.
is
You
if you
camped
got there
out.
and you're like, boys, it's coming out today, and you were a week off.
Yeah.
And then you look like an asshole because
So
you're
you were
like,
in line
"Comes out
for
tomorrow," and
Paddington
everyone's like, "You're
Bear.
dumb."
Yo, man, that would be great. If it
What?
was County
This is
Down to
Paddington. Where's the Fast
They
and
somehow,
Furious?
got you into Paddington.
I don't want
Bear.
to see
You're like,
Paddington.
I don't know. They blindfolded
Asshole.
you.
Oh, man.
Although Paddington Bear is probably going to be a pretty cute movie.
Well, there's a Paddington Bear in which he crashes a lot of cars, so that's a really good one.
All right.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Is that like the third chapter of Mike Tyson's book? I was really drunk with Paddington Bear. I can't do Mike Tyson.
You do one of the worst Tysons I've ever heard.
I don't do impressions well.
I just love Paddington Bear. He made me crazy. What? If you don't like Paddington, I'm gonna bite your ear off. Sorry
Tim.
about that. Go ahead.
What's your topic?
So my topic is the voice of our childhood,
Oh, bless your
which
heart.
is this man right
Rob
here.
Paulsen.
It's crazy.
Standing ovation if you
Slow
could
clap.
stand.
We can't work together.
So what's
Thank you.
crazy here
Who knew
is-
that the voice of your childhood was a middle-aged white guy?
I did.
It was probable.
I knew that.
But
That's what I
so
figured
what's
at the time.
crazy about this is you literally voiced half of the characters that meant anything to any of us.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
And that's crazy because like just talking to you now, being in the same room with you, it's always nuts to talk to these people that like you hear the voice and you know the voice, but you can't put a face to that voice. And then the second you do, you're just like, oh my god.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. That thank you, by the way. That's really sweet. And what I'm finding, having been doing this for a long time, or having been around for a long time, is that when people find out, who I am and what I do, it all it does is engender a happy response. And I swear to God, it's the sweetest thing in the world. This weekend we do this show at Sketchfest. Just like every other weekend, there will be a handful of people out of the 400 or 500 who will come up and afterwards and say, I love Pinky and the Brain, but my brother had, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the only thing that got him through his treatments were Pinky and the Brain. Or my brother and I, my parents got a divorce, and my brother and I held on to each other watching Ninja Turtles. And they get emotional because it takes them to a place where, but for that show, they would have been miserable. And it's not just me. It could be Tiny Toons or The Simpsons or whatever it is, And so I am so incredibly grateful that I'm around and that I can experience this from a purely selfish standpoint, hearing things like that. And when people take the time to say, I love G.I. Joe, are you kidding me?
God.
Oh my God. It's wonderful. So I'm so grateful, man.
For the 1% of our audience that is not up to your full catalog, can you run us through the highlights?
I want them dead. I want their families dead. I want the house burnt to the ground. No.
Let's start from the beginning. Let's start from. Yeah, what? Just give me the highlights.
I was excited to see where you're gonna go with it. Let's start from the beginning, as if you knew the beginning. You knew Rob's catalog.
I was gonna actually say my beginning. I was like, let's start with the early '80s.
There's a Rain Man vibe. Of course, we'll start from the beginning. Of course, we'll start when you started in 1983, December 47th, 1894. No, the first cartoons I did. Well, I came out here in 1978. Came to California ostensibly to do live action, and which I did. And in those days, of course, animation was pretty much relegated to ABC, CBS, and NBC on Saturday morning, right? There was no DirecTV, no DVD. Betamax was still around, right? Wow. So, and there was occasional local channels that would have syndicated cartoons, but by and large, most cartoons were Saturday morning on the three major networks. There's no Fox. So it wasn't like I didn't want to do cartoons. I just knew that I was coming out to work. And whatever that meant, it was great. I had theater and music background. And then when I got the opportunities in the mid-'80s, that's when Marvel kind of started doing their syndicated G.I. Joe, Transformers, and all that stuff. And so I read for those, and the very first shows that I got were G.I. Joe and Transformers. I was Tripwire and Snow Job, right? And I love Snow Job because he was that sort of a Bostonian fella, right? Fella from down east from up there. And Snow Job was always dressed in white because he was a snow job.
Yeah.
He was an alpine fighter, right? And it was really great. He had his white skis, his white weapon, his white hood, his white outfit and all that, and a big, bright red beard. So I'm thinking to myself, any Ruski worth his salt can say, shoot the red beard guy. I can see you, Snow Job. But that was my, and what a group. It was, right? And so at the same time, they were producing Transformers. And I didn't come
Who were you in Transformers?
I was, I did aerial bots. I was like.
Silverbolt?
No, oh God, I can't remember.
Air Raid?
Air Raid. Ah! Yeah, Air Raid. And, who needs Miley Cyrus when you got?
Well, he is my little Miley Cyrus. For now, he's placeholder.
My little Miley Cyrus.
If I can trade him out for Miley,
I love it. Look at your face; it's the
gone.
same color as my name. It's turning all pink.
I'm a pink man.
Narf. So I was just. It was great, but I'm working with Peter Cullen and Frank Welker and all these people whom I'd known kind of peripherally, but now I'm working with these guys who are the best at the best. But I knew that there were literally a handful of people who were doing all the cartoons, but it doesn't take very long when you're working for you to sort of take the bird in the hand. And I remember that at the time I started doing a lot of cartoons, my son was coming along and my wife said, it's not that I think you're difficult to look at or anything like that, but there are a million average-looking white guys with SAG cards in L.A. So if you're going to... And I was doing pilots and getting work on camera and all that, but, man, I was all of a sudden getting hired to do things that I would never be considered for on camera. Like
a transforming robot.
Like a transforming
robot. Or an Alpine soldier.
Right, or an Alpine soldier. Or what the first regular gig I got that was a big deal for me was they did a reboot of Johnny Quest. And when I was a kid, Johnny Quest, Tim Matheson was the voice of Johnny Quest in the early mid-'60s. And I loved that show. It was a primetime show on ABC like the Flintstones, right? So Hanna-Barbera did it again in the mid-'80s, and I got hired to be Haji. So I'm this kid from Flint, Michigan going, "Careful, Race, it's a pterodactyl." That I would never get a chance to read for. So all of a sudden, I am a little Indian boy, and now I date them. No. So... It was great, and so from there it was a lot of stuff at Hanna-Barbera, Smurfs, and then I started working at Disney, doing the Disney afternoon stuff. This was when the Disney afternoon stuff started really coming along. Disney Channel started kind of, but it was Gummy Bears and Darkwing Duck. I played a character called Steelbeak on Darkwing Duck, who was a character with a steel beak, right? Ergo the name. You see what I did there?
Right. It was just better written back.
They were artists. They were artists.
Right. So I did that, a lot of Disney stuff, and then that led to a bunch of stuff at pretty much all the Disney afternoon stuff, Rescue Rangers and where the
who were you in Rescue
Goof
Rangers?
Troop. I was a guy called PJ on Goof Troop, a big fat kid on Goof Troop.
Were you him in the Goofy movie?
Yeah. Right. How about that? Hey, look, they're wetting their pants. And then it was kind of like all of a sudden Warner Brothers jumped on board, and then we did Tiny Toons and Tasmania, and then that led to Animaniacs, and then it spun off Pinky and the Brain. Then we did Hysteria, and in the middle of that, I was doing The Tick and The Mask. I was the Mask. I was Jim Carrey for a whole lot less money.
What were you in The Tick?
I was Arthur. Yeah.
Which one was
Arthur? He's the guy in white.
You were Arthur?
He was the side. Get it? Side
my
tick.
God.
See what I did there? Side
Nice.
tick. Yeah.
Ah, man, you've been doing this
That
a
was
while.
a long time. Yeah. So I was Arthur.
That just blew my mind. You were
Yeah.
you were the lead. That's hilarious.
That's
Yeah.
what
So
I was
awesome.
talking about. Like when you're like, I always tell the story whenever we're together. Of course, is at Comic-Con when we first met 2 years ago.
Oh, this is a great story.
When they're like, yeah, I'm like they're bringing people in left and right, and all right. Now up is the cast of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. I'm like, all right, who are they? And like it's Sean Astin. I'm like, Rudy, got it. They're like, it's Bland from Arrested Development. I'm like, all right, great. And then they're like, it's Rob Paulsen. And I'm like, who is Rob Paulsen? And like, oh, he was originally Raphael. Now he's Donatello. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I like the Turtles. That's enough. And we're talking about Turtles. And yeah, you in the middle of your interview just go, blah, blah, blah. And then when we went to do Animaniacs, and you can see me, I just go, and like all the gears click. And I'm like, that's fucking Yakko. I'm talking to Yakko. I am talking to Yakko. Like, I didn't say it on the air. Yeah, exactly.
They didn't prepare.
Oh, well, but see, that's exactly precisely what I'm talking about, you guys, is that reaction is so incredibly, it's wonderful. Yeah. Every actor wants to be in a position. I mean, to have somebody take the time to say, oh my God, I love your work. And not only that, but it just makes me feel good.
Sure.
And so I all of that. And my God, like we said, The Tick, The Mask, I did a show. My kid's favorite show that I did, who's now 30, was Mighty Max. I did this show called Mighty Max.
Yeah. I'm quite familiar with Mighty Max.
And I was Max, right?
You were Max?
I was Max. But great people. We had Tim Curry was Skullmaster, and Richard Mall from Night Court was my protector. The late great Tony Jay was Virgil, this big talking chicken. Incredible, really interesting show.
Yeah.
People characters died in the show.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense for mid-'90s.
I want to back up real quick.
Sure.
Because you just blew my mind with The Tick. The Tick was one of my all-time favorite shows.
And it should be. That show is brilliant.
When you
Totally underrated.
First of all, do they give you the full script, or do you just get your sides for?
No, we get the full script.
When you read the first few scripts, were you like, "This is
totally.
I don't get this," or "This is genius"?
No, totally, because and you may remember. Forgive me, I feel really stupid, and I'll remember his name later. But the gentleman who created The Tick, he is one of the executive producers on what's the Supernatural?
Okay.
Ben Edlund.
Okay.
Ben Edlund. At the time, he was like 22. really precocious young fella, you know.
I hate him.
And so I'm reading. Well, I read the script, and there's an interesting story about that. I read the script, went in, auditioned, and as Greg said, I was Raphael in the original Ninja Turtles, and the guy who played Michelangelo, Townsend Coleman, got the job to be. He's the Tick in the animated series. So that the guy was Michelangelo is also the Tick. Well, Townie and I had obviously been working together for years on Turtles, and they said, "Hey, we really would like to hire you to be Arthur." And I said, "Great." The night before we were supposed to record the first episode, I got a phone call from our director, Sue Blue, who said they decided they want to put a celebrity talent as the voice of Arthur. And I thought, oh, shit. Well, it happens. You know, what are you going to do? But you'll be in every episode, and you'll be coming back as, you know, you're not going to do Arthur. I said, okay. So they hired Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. I don't know if you guys remember the Monkees. Mickey Dolenz was the Arthur, right? And my response, my response inside my thought process, my little selfish brain was, Mickey Dolenz? I mean, I love the Monkees because when I was a kid, I used to watch that. But if you're going to hire a celebrity to draw people to the show, no offense,
right.
Mickey Dolenz?
Yeah,
you know?
You're not getting the
right.
kids to watch.
But of course, hey, listen, I learned. I'm just grateful to work, and I still have that sort of Midwestern work ethic mindset. Where if you're gonna bring me in to do this, are you kidding me? You want to talk to me? I'm grateful that I'll be there.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'm going to be a team player. No. And after the first 12 episodes, Mickey got a job where he had to go on the road. And then the producers came back and said, you know, we really feel bad about what happened. And would you now do Arthur? Because we're going to do 2 more years of the Tick. Mm-hmm. And I said, I will. But you have to promise me, and it's only a handshake, but you have to promise me that if Mickey comes back off the road from doing There's a Girl in My Soup or whatever he was doing, that you still stick with me.
Yeah.
Because I was a team player. I didn't get pissed off. And,
yeah.
Sure, but you start to own that character after
right.
a while, and it's like offensive.
They said, okay, and they did. So Mickey did the first 12 episodes, and I did the last 24.
Oh my God, that's
But
awesome.
man, I'm telling you, when I read that stuff right off the bat, I thought this is so.
It's wild, right?
Out
it was
there.
so weird. I mean, that's the show in my mind was brilliant, but
Oh,
I don't know that it was necessarily a huge success, just because I think.
No, I think it was a little ahead of its time, and
Way
it was
ahead of
on
its
time.
Comedy
Yeah.
Central for a while. But the other cast members, Maurice LaMarche, my friend the Brain, who plays the Brain, did a great character on that show, recurring character called the Mad Bomber with bombs.
Oh
at
my
midnight.
God, the man!
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Oh, that's Maurice.
Oh my God.
It's fantastic.
Just the whole episode, he puts bombs all over. It's genius.
It's
Sorry.
genius. So thank you for but you're right. It was.
Who played Chairface Chippendale? That's what I was. going to ask.
That was Cam Clark, who was. Oh no, he played Chairface Chippendale. Was I think Jess Harnell, who was Wacko and on Animaniacs.
No shit.
And the other one, the Fledermaus,
Yeah.
that was Cam Clark, who was Leonardo on Ninja Turtles.
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. Like it must have been like it must be fun when you show up. I imagine that you probably don't record all together. You probably just go.
Well, we did in those days.
Did you?
Yeah,
That
all the
must have been a
Turtles,
blast.
Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, we were all together. And if you guys ever come to LA, like right now, the biggest thing I'm working on, which is a blast, is Turtles again.
Yeah.
And those sessions are a frickin' hoot. So if you guys want to come down, you're in town.
Yeah.
Get to a session.
Yeah.
You tell us when a session's
Oh
happening.
no,
We'll
it's
just come.
really cool. We've
Don't
got
worry
some
about it.
great actors
Game
on
Over
that
Greggy show cross with TMNT
Yeah.
and Zyrecast.
Oh, it's really fun. But yeah, being together in that room with those people, and I remember I came up with Tress McNeil last night to do a sketch fest here, and she was Babs Bunny and Dot and Gadget on Rescue Rangers, and just incredible. And she's she plays Mom on Futurama. She's the crazy cat lady amongst everything else on Simpsons. I mean, you look up Tress McNeil on IMDb, and it's like the Manhattan phone book, right? Yeah. But I remember being in sessions with Tress at Animaniacs and just looking at each other going, honey, take a picture of this because it does not get any better.
I mean, that's like top. That's top. You guys
Steven
are like top talent, man.
Spielberg,
That's awesome.
both sides of the glass, 40-piece orchestra for every half hour's worth of music. So, honestly, if Ninja Turtles changed my career, then Animaniacs kind of changed my life because all of a sudden you're working and you're hired specifically by Steven Spielberg to do this new golden age of animation at Warner Brothers, right? And everybody won Emmys and Peabodys, and it's still to this day, thanks to folks like you, and the fact that it's really good, is that it holds up. 20 years later.
Oh yeah.
You can watch Animaniacs. It's not dated. It's not jaded. It's really good, and the music is timeless. Thanks to Randy Rogel and Richard Stone and Julian Steve Bernstein. These people all won a pile of Emmys, and they should have. And they're all still writing stuff, So it's that sort of takes you up to now. But what's cool? Oh, in the middle, kind of. I was also Carl on Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Tim's eyes can't get any wider.
This is awesome.
That's so weird,
So,
huh?
the most important question I have is, so you were Raphael in the original Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Did you do the Raphael voice in the theme song of the Ninja Turtles?
No, and we didn't record the original theme song.
Well, I know, but there's one.
He has
Give
one
me a
line.
break, yeah, give me a break. Was that you?
That was not me.
see? I
But
had
you
a
know who
feeling
wrote
it
that
wasn't.
song? It was written by Chuck Lorre, who produces 3.5 Men,
Really?
2.5 Men,
Yeah, 2.5
and Big Bang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chuck Lorre wrote that.
he wrote it.
Yeah, so because he needed the money. In those days, apparently he did. So he made a ton of dough writing that thing. But I just did a podcast, my podcast, the last one I did.
Talking Tunes.
Talking
Available
Tunes.
now
Thank you
everywhere.
very much.
Podcast
Yeah.
services.
Thank you, buddy. And I had Kevin Eastman on because Kevin,
Oh, yeah.
and so
Yeah.
Kevin came on, and he's just delightful, and we're about the same age, and of course the conversation went around to, we do it live at the Improv in Hollywood, and we had a couple hundred people there, and the question actually always comes up: did you have any idea? And he just said, "What can I tell you? Me and Peter Laird were a couple of bong water drinking cats from Maine and New Hampshire." And they borrowed money from their respective aunts and uncles and parents to produce their first comic book, which ultimately sold 15,000 copies, which they freaked out because they could all of a sudden buy a piece of furniture,
Right.
or new milk cartons or milk crates, right, for their furniture. And who knew that this was the 30th anniversary? 2014 was the 30th anniversary of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm on the latest iteration of the show, which has done incredibly well. And it's huge again, arguably as big as it's ever been. If you go to Toys R Us or
Yep,
any place else,
they're
the
everywhere.
it's crazy. So to get a chance to do 2 versions of that show, the original, which will always be cool, and then 20 odd years later, I get to do a new iteration, which is being produced by people your age who arguably get it better than anybody
Yeah.
because they grew up, they know the mythology, and they know the whole circumstance. So Ciro Nielli and Brandon Allman, who are producing it, are doing a hell of a job, and it's just a gas to do it again. It's cool.
So have you been working with them like the same core group? I mean, because every time you talk about something, Maurice is a part of it.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like Maurice and you seem attached to the hip. When did that start? And then has it just been? Is this whole business just referrals? Like, oh, they
Kinda.
cast you, and they're like, well, who do you work well with, or like, who have we seen you with?
When you're lucky enough to work a lot, then producers will do that. It doesn't. I mean, I'm not a celebrity talent. The characters, and you guys are being very sweet, but the truth
Oh,
is,
shut the fuck
No,
up.
no,
This
no,
is the
no,
same
listen.
shit you pulled it up
No,
in
no,
me
but
when you're
listen
like,
to
oh,
me.
you
No,
guys are treating me
but-
like a celebrity.
no,
You're
no.
eating out of a cardboard box.
yeah, but we were talking about this earlier. The characters are the famous ones. I don't write them and I don't draw them. I mean, I certainly think I add an integral component to the character.
Sure.
But I'm not an animator. I'm an actor. And so I get that it's the characters who are famous. I love the fact that people are starting to make a fuss over me. Anybody actor that says, I hate it when people, that's bullshit. We do this because, you want to make an impact on somebody. And so it's incredibly flattering that people are paying attention to me and others who do this. But what's really ironic is that if I were to spend 2 years on a sitcom being the next door goofy neighbor on Who's Cooking the Soup, and then went back to doing
Is that a real
cartoons.
sitcom that
No, but isn't that a great name?
That's a great name.
Write that down.
Can we write that right
Thursdays,
now?
Who's Greg's back? Colin's got him. Thursdays on CBS. Who's cooking the soup?
Are you cooking the soup?
Are you
today?
cooking the soup
I thought
today?
you were cooking
I
the
am.
soup today.
Sponsored by Progresso. But
This is gonna be a thing right now.
yeah, totally.
talk
It's
afterward.
going to be a meme.
We have to cut these 3 guys out of it though.
That's okay.
They're dead weight.
We don't need them. They're
Dead
just
weight.
lose them. Lose the losers.
We're definitely not cooking this.
But the truth is that if I were to all of a sudden become recognizable to folks in the street and in Hollywood, they say, hey, you know that guy who's on Who's Cooking the Soup? He does really great voices. That guy's been doing cartoons. Let's hire him in our new big Pixar movie. So, I'm getting more and more gigs that are just given to me because I've
Sure.
done it a lot. But when it comes to a big show like a new Ninja Turtles, they're going to audition actors, and because it's a huge property for Viacom, who owns Nickelodeon and Paramount and everything else. And hell, I remember getting a call back. Let me back up a little bit. I almost was a victim of my own ageism because I had been doing it for so long that my agent called and said, hey, they're going to audition for Ninja Turtles. Do you want to read? And I said, well, yeah, but do they know who I am? Not out of arrogance, But because I knew there had been several iterations of the show that had been done without any of the original cast members,
Right.
and that's fine. A new producer owns the property. He wants to put his own stamp on it. I totally get that. I just said, I don't want to get in there and say, oh, this old guy was Raphael. And, oh, he's here. Let's throw him a bone, you know. And because I'm not famous, I mean, physically, I'm not aware that people know who I am. Until they find out what I do, then they know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So my agent called back and said, are you kidding me? No, they know about Pinky. They're like you guys. They know about Raphael. They know you won an Emmy for the. They just think you'd be great for Donatello if you wouldn't mind reading. And I said, well, hell no, but I'm 54 years. I have no problem reading. I just want to make sure they know that they don't give a shit how old you are.
It's your voice.
Right? And it was hard for me to comprehend that because I'm living in this shell, right?
Sure.
No pun intended.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
Thank you. And so I went in and read, but the thing that really got my attention was that when I read and started getting callbacks, I thought, holy shit, I think I got a crack at this. And then on the second or third callback, I'll walk in a room and here's, Jason Bateman and Will Wheaton and all these other people who are, reading for Ninja Turtles, John Cryer. And I'm going, well, these guys don't need the dough. They just want to be in the freaking Turtles.
Yeah.
This is really cool. And I get a call. My agent said, how do you feel about doing Turtles again? I said, are you fucking kidding me? They said, nope, you're Donatello. And what an incredible thrill to do it again. It's fantastic. And arguably, you could make the argument, I think, even if you look at it objectively from the critical success, the vast majority of people who watch the show that who are your age, I mean, the kids, of course, love it too. But the kids, the folks your age will say, I didn't want to like this show. Because
it's the truth, though.
Right.
But when you compare it to the original, it's one of those things. Obviously, I love the original.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, this one is legitimately good.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
really
just like,
is.
oh, I was
It's
a little
not
kid and I like
nostalgic.
these things.
no,
Yeah,
even my
it's like-
my kid who's not afraid to, cut me. He called me. He said, I'll watch a few of them and then I'll let you know. And he said, you know what? This is unbelievably good. And it's because the people are your age who are making it. They totally get it. And I know I've strayed a little bit from your original question.
That's how the show goes. Don't worry.
But the
You want to talk about the Dyson vacuum again? We'll talk about the Dyson vacuum again.
Maurice
talk about the
has a
Dyson
Dyson vacuum. How's that for a segue? But no, Maurice is one of those guys. There certainly is a group of a sort of core group of voice actors whom you find in most shows.
Yeah.
Billy West, DiMaggio, Tress, Tara Strong, Maurice,
Clancy Brown makes the rounds.
Clancy. Just an incredible. And we talked about him trying to get on your show, and
And he never called me
He
back.
never did. I'm
Thanks,
sorry.
Clancy. Now who's got 100,000 YouTube subs?
That's right.
Me. How many you got? Nothing.
Fuck
Enjoy
this.
your Lex Luthor money. Fuck you.
He is a great guy, but he's in all those.
No, he seems nice.
He's on
He's
on
definitely
Turtles.
not coming on the show now.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Oh, you just shot yourself right in
Oh,
both
that,
feet.
he understands.
Yeah.
If he couldn't roll with that joke, if he
No,
doesn't
he's
get
gonna.
that fun.
He totally good. He's a great guy. But my God, we've got Roseanne has been on the show, and we've got Sean Astin is now Raphael. Seth Green is Leonardo. I'm Donatello. Greg Sipes is Mikey. Mae Whitman is April. It's great. But like you said, Maurice has been on the show. But Maurice won back-to-back Emmys for his work on Futurama.
Right.
Because Mo is Morbo and Kif Kroker and so many other, you see all these actors, and the truth is, and it's not because there's no room for anybody else, it's because it's like any other thing. We're all utility players, right? And when a producer says, "Wow, I can call Maurice and get 10 different voices out of this guy,
yeah.
all of which will be fleshed out."
Egon in Real Ghostbusters.
Right? Yeah, same thing. And Dave Coulier and all these great actors who will be Welker. It's not that it's impossible to break in. It's just that you've got all these people who can do it.
Yeah, and I'd imagine also you have a cadence together. Like,
Yes, we
you've
do. We work
worked so
together
much.
like with Billy and DiMaggio and all that stuff, and we all work together so well. But also, there are new folks that come in. Like a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, D. Bradley Baker burst onto the scene.
Yeah.
He is from another planet, man. And Jeff Bennett before him. Jeff Bennett is just outrageous, So there's room, and now we've got kids like Eric Bauza who have broken in, just doing really, really great work. And also there's tons of work now because there's so much.
There's a lot more volume.
I'm doing two new shows for Netflix that are being done by DreamWorks specifically for. They're doing 12 new animated shows of 78 or 80 episodes each, specifically for Netflix.
And Netflix just ordered that many.
They got the
chaos.
cash.
That's
and
awesome.
It's
They
really
get my
cool.
money every damn month.
And Danny Jacobs, who does the voice of King Julian in Penguins of Madagascar for Nickelodeon, they're doing a King Julian show for Netflix, and he's just crazy good. Scripts are amazing. All the talent that that have been on TV and in the movies, and they're doing it just for Netflix. So it's just a brave new world, and I'm so grateful because nobody cares what I look like. It's about,
Can you still do your, can I still go, hello, nurse? And when I do that, you do that.
That's true.
You just start to
That's
smile.
all that matters.
it's all
You
fantastic.
do have a great smile, though.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
going to put that out there.
Well, it's the best smile money can buy. I got these on eBay. And I staple them into my gums because they don't fit.
Right. Well,
They were
nothing's
made
perfect.
originally for.
Oh God. Now, Nick, you do your walk-in, and then
No, I can't. The thing is,
No,
I'm
you
so
can't do it.
embarrassed to do a walk-in in front of people who do this, not professionally, but like on a different level professionally.
Well, the fact is that there is no reason that you can't join in the fun. I propose for all you guys here and those of you out there who want to see it that we do a new show called The Walk-In.
Oh, we're gonna
Dead.
do.
You waited. You fucked up my pause.
I did.
The Walk-In. Dead.
I'm calling it right now. I'm putting this out there on the table. We're probably gonna be this table. Probably gonna be in LA sooner than this, but if not, for sure, probably for E3.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, good. That's in
we
May,
have-
right?
June.
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 Okay.
We'll reach out to you beforehand. We'll probably, knowing us, we'll give you about
We'll
a day,
get a whole
day
bunch
notice.
of actors
I
together.
want to get everyone that's been on here that's done walk-in, and I want to do a walk-in off.
I'd love to.
And I just want you can't bring another character in. You can't come in as
All right.
yourself. You got to come in as walk-in.
Walk-in.
You got to sit down as walk-in. And I'm gonna interview. I'm gonna
I
moderate.
need more
Walk in is
cowbell.
walking.
You gotta walk in as walk-in, and I want to try to get at least because we have 3. You do a fantastic walk-in.
You know
your,
who else
your
does?
walk-in is. Sorry, who are you gonna
No,
say?
mine's I think a little older, a younger walk.
Yours is a younger walk-in.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that because, and that's what it was. I think it was Kevin Pollak who said you have to pick. Oh wait, was it Kevin or was it Troy?
Troy said it, but he was quoting somebody else.
I think he was quoting Kevin, who said Kevin Pollak, of course,
Yeah.
is like
Excellent.
excellent.
And he's a
walk-in.
very close friend of Maurice's. He and Mo are good buddies.
He says you have to pick your era of
Right.
walk-in, right?
Right.
Yours is very, very much
Deer Hunter
like,
version.
yeah, Deer Hunter. I was gonna say, right,
Up
Deer
there.
Hunter, Blue
Because
Velvet.
the way that my voice is positioned in my throat makes me a younger Hoffa.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's the.
But
Troy Baker's. Do you know Troy Baker?
Oh, I know him very well, yeah.
Troy's is now. Like
Yeah.
it is current. It is pauses where he just loses himself for a second
Yeah.
and then comes right back to it on a totally different tangent.
crazy.
And then Michael Rosenbaum does
Oh,
a
yeah.
fantastic walk-in.
Yeah.
So those
There's
are,
even Nolan North out. He does an amazing.
Nolan does a great
Nolan
one.
would be
Jeff
good.
Bennett, Jess Harnell does a great. He does the good walking, like the Captain
so-
Hook walking.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's my walk-in.
You know what I told
That's
those
the only walk-in
guys?
I do.
I told them the show was a crock. Yeah.
That's the only walk-in I
Forgive
do.
me.
My era of walk-in is just that 2-hour period where he had the bad wig,
Yeah.
the hook.
Ask
and
Peter
was
why
just,
he's so young for us.
Peter, why are you so young? What's with those thighs? The virile.
Now say it's fine.
It's fine, Peter.
Hey,
You're giving me goosebumps.
that's pretty good. The way that you ask him, why is he so young? Very good.
All right, we're doing
Very
this.
good, buddy.
We're doing
All right,
this.
the walking off is happening. Kind of
I love how
funny, but-
Christopher Walken has become a seminal part of this
Totally.
show. Like a seminal and central part of what we do is Christopher Walken.
I don't think you realize how much Christopher Walken has influenced your life.
Oh,
I think
my
you need-
God.
I think I realized.
I think
exactly
you need to go
how much-
home and you need to shut a door and you need to think about Christopher Walken.
Yeah,
and how much he
spend
means
some
to you.
time.
I am home. This is my house.
But the camera's in the
my
doorway. We
house.
can't shut it. So
This is where I live. Who the fuck do you think you are?